Happy Friday, everyone. Pam Wandry with Columbine Mortgage, and this is your Weekend Watch. This week, the Fed met, and of course, as expected, they held the benchmark rate where it is. Since this was anticipated, it didn't really move the markets much. But at the Fed's presser afterwards, they had a much more optimistic outlook on the economy, and probably largely due to the latest GDP data, and then also easing concerns of the labor market. So all in all, that really didn't move the markets much. However, with rumblings of a potential another government shutdown coming and the new nomination who's going to be the new Fed chair, that's all has the markets a little on edge, and so there's still always going to be a little bit of volatility. However, with that, some of that latest, our benchmark overall this week is held at the 5.99%, but this morning it's already up a little bit over that 6% mark. We're hoping we'll recover that next week. Here in the Denver metro area, we had another over 1,000 homes come onto the market, and then for active listings, and 10% of all active listings went under contract this past week. 34% of them had been on the market for less than 30 days. As we move into February, we'll see more and more of the market share of active inventory be less and less of the homes that have been on the market for longer, meaning less and fewer options or opportunities to negotiate for either price reductions and seller concessions. So we're moving into that spring market. We're not quite there yet, but we are headed that way. Here at Columbine, we had a light week of offers going out. About 60% of those offers were accepted with an average of about 1% below list price, and that includes any concessions that were received. So pretty decent over here, but as we hit a little bit more competition on those newer homes. Now, you may wonder when you see all the advertisements about interest rates and mortgages and not knowing what's real and what's not. There's a lot of questions out there. Of course, there's a few myths that you need to be aware of. One, that rate that you're seeing is not always the rate that you're going to get. Of course, when advertisers put out these interest rates, they're quoting the best possible scenario, which may not be your exact situation. And so there can be differences there. So the rate you see isn't always the rate you're going to get. Another one would be that the lowest interest rate is the best. Now, when you see these low interest rates quoted, oftentimes the other part of the question is how much or what is the cost for that rate? The interest rate is only half the story. So you want to make sure you understand truly what is the cost of that rate, if there's any discount points associated with it, and what that means for you. Lastly, I'm sure you heard it before, nothing really is free. When you see those quotes of free refinance, that's not entirely the full story. So the question is, how much of the cost is being taken into that base rate? Who's truly paying for the cost of that refinance? These are all questions you'll want to make sure you answer and understand when you look into these different types of advertisements. If you're having a hard time understanding what's real and what's not, that's what I'm here for. I'm happy to be a resource and help you understand what you're looking at and to be fully transparent. If you have any questions or headed out this weekend, don't hesitate to reach out. That's what I'm here for. Have a great one, guys. See you next week.